Hello and welcome to the Bob Box. This episode was nearly about Gesundebot. Had Gesundebot's slip been found first when it was fumbling around the ground, I would not be talking about megahertz. Gesundebot's slip is safe in the box now. Don't worry. So on to megahertz. Megahertz was designed to look like a late 90s desktop computer. Remember, it made its debut in the late 90s. Its weapons were a lifter that looked like a computer keyboard and a blade at the back of the ramming and spiky variety. It also had a moving disk drive and a mouse mascot, a lot unlike this little mouse here. Megahertz made its debut in Series 2 Heat K and had to face the Gauntlet. It went for the route with the angle grinders. Megahertz had a hard time escaping them, but once the ram rig parts of the angle grinders got out of the way, Megahertz escaped both that and the pendulum before facing the last obstacles, the flame pit and Sir Kill-A-Lot. Megahertz drove over the flame pit twice in a bid to dodge the house robot, only to get boxed in. Still, Megahertz escaped and made the end zone, so that got them through. The mouse survived too. It was there because the team thought the house robots were pet friendly. Seriously. Then the team did something that was either very brave or very foolish, calling Plunderbird 2's team the International Wreck Crew Chickens. They drove into the pits during the Gauntlet. Plunderbird 2, that is. They did this Megahertz team to the International Wreck Crew's team's base. So, next was the trials. King of the Castle this time. Megahertz had to fight off Sergeant Bash and Dead Metal at the same time. Megahertz was locked in a tug-of-war between the two house robots. In trying to escape, they made a driving error, got stuck on the edge and fell off after lasting just 22.2 seconds. Dead Metal and Sergeant Bash followed, which didn't do the monitor too much good. However, in last place with one run left, they were relying on Plunderbird 2 to last less time than them. Alas for Megahertz, Plunderbird 2 was victorious and Megahertz were out. However, it did get nominated for Most Original Entry, but ended up losing out to Millie Ann Bug. Megahertz did not return for Series 3 due to its team having an ancient Egyptian diversion with Tut's Revenge, which we've already covered. Megahertz itself did not return until Series 6 with Megahertz 2. Now armed with a lifter, automatic side axes and a rear spike, Megahertz 2 also had angry eyes, but no mouse. They found a home in Heat B and drew vertical spinner Cedric Slammer, rear-hinged flipper Colossus, both from Preston, and front-hinged flipper and third seed Firestorm 4. Megahertz also was from Preston. What are the chances of 3 votes from one fight town being in the same fight? Still, to battle. Whilst Megahertz 2 immediately went for Firestorm 4, it quickly ended up out of focus because Firestorm 4 went after Cedric Slammer. So Megahertz 2 went after Colossus, who only escaped to open the pit. Big mistake. The unoccupied Firestorm 4 just dismissed Cedric Slammer, flipped Colossus over and put it in a corner where it could not self-right. Then Firestorm 4 flipped Megahertz 2 and broke the monitor. And Megahertz 2 got pitted and were quickly quickly joined by Firestorm 4. Still, Megahertz 2 got through. They had to fight Axbot Exterminator. And Exterminator's team, at least one of them anyway, did not get on with computers. They'd been messed around with them for far too long. Remember, Megahertz 2 looks like a computer. It was Revenger Clock. Exterminator had trouble axing Megahertz 2 until they put the computer bot on the flame pit and axed off the monitor screen. Another axe blow removed the screen from Exterminator's axe. Megahertz 2 fought back though, managing to get underneath Exterminator with the keyboard lifter. This sadly did not last, as Megahertz 2 got axed again and sent into the corner occupied by Growler. Growler could not grab them though, well, for a moment anyway. Megahertz 2 got dragged around for its trouble. Once Growler had got Megahertz 2 good and dizzy, Megahertz 2 got released. It immediately went after Exterminator, engaging in a shoving match, but getting axed twice. They then got in and underneath Exterminator once again, and rammed it into a corner, an occupied one though, before opening the pit. Megahertz 2 then delivered Exterminator to Growler, but Megahertz 2 got too close to Mr. Psycho's hammer, and the monitor suffered further damage before Exterminator pushed Megahertz into the massive house robot one more time before time ran out. Exterminator killed the monitor in the final second, though without the axe spike. The axe spike had long since been detached. The judges were called in and they went for Exterminator, and Megahertz 2 were out. They did not want to return Exterminator's axe head, so Craig Charles did the honours instead. Oh dear. Megahertz returned for Series 7 as Megahertz LT for laptop. The monitor was no longer a boxy ablative armour, as both it and the keyboard were now flippers, though the monitor was more streamic. It found a home in Heat H and drew vertical spinner Revolution 3, horizontal spinner the Scrapper, and double flipper St. Agro. And on their entrance, the arena announcer called Megahertz Limited. Good start. Not. The battle did not go any better for Megahertz. It got flipped over by St. Agro and met the Scrapper's disc. And then it got flipped by St. Agro again. This is going to be a running theme. This time they landed upside down. They did manage to self-right eventually, but it resulted in Revolution 3 attacking. Once St. Agro removed the Scrapper from the arena, the double flipper flipped Megahertz LT into a corner. Growler showed up, and Megahertz LT ended up upside down again, and also a bit deceased. Cue computer puns courtesy of Jonathan Pierce. Megahertz LT got counted out, which was cue for Growler to show up. Megahertz LT flew airfloor flipper before Growler eventually pitted Megahertz. Jonathan, by the way, racked up 9 computer puns, I counted them, and 1 pun on Megahertz LT's name, making that a total of 10 puns. And that was the end for Megahertz. Megahertz was not intended to be serious, but it had a lot of fight in it. It pushed Exterminator to a judge's decision, and in the very next series, with new weaponry albeit, Exterminator came fourth. It was a bit lucky to get that right going through because the other two were eliminated for it, but Megahertz is a good one to watch. So, who's next? I can avoid fumbling on the floor this time. Okay, time to introduce Lucky Robot. Moobot. Okay. Until next week, Callison244 out.